Yo, what is going on, guys? Hope you guys are having a wonderful day. I know I am, and that's why I'm doing a video right after school. And initially for this video, I was gonna have a script, and check this out. Guys, it's literally almost 2.5 pages, right? And I was like, oh wait, no, that's gonna be too boring and too long. So I decided to just go ahead and freestyle it and just cut out some of the really small details. So without further ado, I'm going to tell you guys why you should think again before you buy the Dell Inspiron 15777, which is the new gaming laptop, or even the 7567, or just any Dell laptop, because I'm going to give you my experience that I had with the 7567. So without further ado, let's get started. So, if you watch my other videos, you would know that I loved my Dell 7567. I received it somewhere around June, and I was just initially really happy with it. It was just great in one word, right? And for some reason, I was really unlucky, you could say maybe. Or maybe just Dell has really bad quality checks, but somewhere around August, the end of August, I believe August 30th, I wanted to use my headphone jack. It has a combo jack, and I wanted to use it. So I tried connecting my headphone into it, and I realized that it wasn't connecting properly. At first, I thought I just had a really bad headphone. So basically, I tried it with other devices, other laptops, everything, it worked fine, and it was just this. So I tried different devices, different earphones, different stuff, and none of them would work on my laptop. So I initially realized that it was just broken, and there was no physical damage or any problem from the exterior. So if you would take a look at it, it looks totally normal to me. So I called up Dell and I told them about the situation. And at first they started to accuse me that I had broken it and that I don't have accidental warranty coverage. So I told them, actually I haven't broken it. It came like this. If you send out a technician, you can see that there's no external damage or whatsoever. And they told me to see if there's anything stuck inside it, and which I already did check. And I told them there's basically nothing, and you can actually see the hole go down, right? And so they finally, after talking with the manager, after talking to multiple people, and even getting hung up on, because Dell's service is so bad that they just love to hang up on you multiple times when they have no answer. So the manager was successfully able to create a service request for this, and he chose, I guess, the parts to fix this, and he was like, okay, you'll receive a technician, and he asked for a time frame, and I said somewhere around 10 to 12 in the morning, and the technician would have all the parts to fix this, and he would come in 24 hours minimum, or it would take maximum up to 5 days. That's what he told me. That's what I guess is in the policy when I bought the extra warranty, but I don't know. And I was like, alright, sweet, thank you. And I was just holding on. I called them 5 days later. So 5 days later, I said, hey guys, I don't know why, but I haven't received my technician yet. I can't use my computer. The headphone jack is not functional, so it's kind of an issue. Keep in mind that the speakers are working perfectly fine, which is the reason why I haven't realized this issue way before, and the fact that I use Bluetooth stuff most of the time. So I tell them that the technician is not yet here. So then they were like, okay, give us 24 to 48 hours, we'll update you on what is going on, right? So then I get a call back, and then I'm told that the parts to fix my laptop are not available, and it's gonna take a longer time. So they told me that they're gonna send in a request to get an exchange and a replacement laptop for me, since the parts are taking too long. And they said that they needed approval from the exchange team, so they told me that I need to wait, and they'll update me when the exchange is approved. I waited, and 14 days later I received the technician. Like, the technician literally showed up at my house, not even in the asked time frame though, but I was luckily at home, and he came and he told me that he had the parts to fix the computer, and he was like, I can fix it for you if you want. And then I told him, I'm sorry, but I thought Dell was sending me a replacement. And then I think he maybe checked with Dell or something, and then he said, oh yes, that's correct, and I can either choose to get the exchange, or I could either choose to get my old one repaired. So I was kind of thinking, come on, if you think about it logically, what's better, a repaired laptop or a brand new laptop? Brand new laptop, that's right. So I said, hey, I think I kind of want to go for the new laptop, but nevertheless, I'm going to show you the laptop just to show you that there is an actual issue with it. And he was confused too, and in fact, he had a motherboard which he was ready to repair and replace onto my old computer, not this one, and he kept it side by side with the broken headphone jack, and he said it's funny because they look totally same from the outside, maybe something on the inside is broken, and he said the motherboard would have to be replaced. Oh yeah, so I forgot to mention that when the technician came, he tried like poking his screwdriver into the headphone jack, which later resulted into the computer thinking that there's a headphone jack connected into it, when really there is nothing connected. So from this point onwards, no headphone jack and no functional speakers, because the computer thinks there's a headphone jack connected in when there's not. So yeah, just makes the story more miserable. So he left and I called Dell again, and still they have not processed it, they have not gotten approval. And I talked to the manager. I was like, hey man, it's been 2 weeks and I haven't received any sort of solution, could you maybe speed things up? And then from his end, he was able to process the request, and he just instantly made a request for the laptop with all my specs, and he was like, this should be shipped out to you in 2 to 5 days and you should receive it in about 1 week. So I was like, whoa, thanks, that's great. And so what happened was, a week passed. Keep in mind, throughout this whole process, I called almost every other day or even daily to get on updates, and every time I would get a reply saying, give us 24 to 48 hours, right? So another week passed, so it's 21 days since initial report, and the case manager, I'm not gonna say his name, sent me an email. So he sent an email saying that your items will be shipped in 10 to 15 days. And I said, I mean, it's not what you guys said, but okay, I'll work with it, it's fine. The next day, I get another email saying the laptop will be received in 12 to 15 days. So as you can see, they slowly added 2 extra days to cover the little frame that they gave. So at this point, I was getting quite frustrated because they're just dragging it on. So it's 21 days have passed, and now it's the 4th week. So 28 days passed. Keep in mind, these are just approximate dates. Like, I'm not exactly telling you the number of days it took, but approximately. So 4 weeks passed, right? And no whatsoever thing. And keep in mind, on about 3.5 weeks since the report, I told them that I want to escalate this issue, and they sent me over to the advanced resolution team. So usually you would be talking to a Dell representative who is talking to you from a call center in India, but the advanced resolution team actually are people who are talking to you from America, so they were a bit more helpful. They had a bit more options to give you. So those guys were actually able to let me know that my issue has been sent over to the corporate office and it's been processed, and they admitted that it hasn't even been shipped. So technically, the manager who told me that I'll receive it in 10 to 15 or 12 to 15 days was lying, right? I don't know what he was thinking, but he was lying. So they said we're processing it and to wait. The thing that Dell loves to do is just, they love to tell you to wait, and that's about it they can do. So I was like, alright, I'm taking this to the public. It's been 4 weeks now. There's nothing that you guys are doing. Haven't received my laptop. Nothing is functional. This is just garbage, right? So I went over to Twitter and I started ranting at them. Literally, I was shouting. I was like, hey, I received a faulty laptop. I'm not getting a solution. What is going on? And right away, I got a direct message from the Twitter team, and they asked me for my service tag and information like that. I gave it to them, and believe it or not, they sent me a replacement laptop, right? This is the one right here, in 24 hours. Express shipping in 24 hours, right? The next day I received it. They were just so fast. And that is not because they love me. That is not because they care about their customers. That is because they care about the public knowing about all these issues. Now, when I talk to them on the phone, no one knows. The public, nothing, right? But when I take this out onto Twitter, onto the public, people then get to know this issue. That's why they acted so fast, right? So I was like, oh my god, you guys are awesome. It was 4 weeks later, but still I received it. I sent back the old one, and I was using this guy. The headphone jacks were awesome. Literally, it was just flawless until I installed all my software. I usually have all the stuff like Adobe Premiere Pro, After Effects, Photoshop, FL Studio 12, a lot of applications regarding productivity. And when I was using these heavy applications, you could say, the computer would literally start lagging, just crashing, and it would eventually give me this blue screen asking me to restart my computer, and it was just so annoying, right? And specifically on this application called FL Studio 12, you can see the CPU usage on the top right side, and it would show you the CPU usage. And when I would play this file, like it was like a file made by me, the CPU usage would literally go up to 100, become red, the computer would start freezing, lagging, and crashing, and the sound would start cracking, and it was just so unusable. Believe it or not, the same file on the same software on a 7-year-old Dell computer works so well that the CPU usage only goes up to 35. That thing has no GPU whatsoever, uses an onboard GPU, has a Pentium 4, which is so old, and it works flawless. So I thought it's either software or hardware, but I reinstalled Windows, I reinstalled the software, I tried tweaking the settings on the software, no change. I updated the drivers from Dell, no change. I updated them from the manufacturer, and no change. I did clean installs of drivers, no change. I literally tried everything regarding software. I called them up again. So this is about 5 days later after receiving this. And I told them about this, and I talked to one technician. She took over my computer, she tried various different things, no change. I talked to another technician, he was a male, he tried, no change. So after talking to 2 technicians, I went over to Twitter again, because that's where I got my first solution, and I was like, that's where I'm gonna get my second solution. And this time, the Twitter team was not at all helpful. They tried calling me back with a social media technician, and he also took over my computer, and he had no whatsoever luck when it comes to fixing this. And it was just really annoying, and what all 3 technicians were saying was that you have hardware warranty, and we tried everything possible from regarding basic software. If you want to go to advanced software resolutions, you need to pay extra money. And I was like, what the heck? This is the replacement you guys gave, right? So why do I have to pay extra to fix something that you guys gave, right? And they were like, sir, we have no other option but to ask for money to fix it from our software side. And I was like, oh my god, this is so annoying. So it's been about, I would say 5 weeks, yeah, probably 5 weeks, and they still haven't fixed it. About 7 weeks later, right? So keep in mind, till the 7th week, I was still calling them, trying to see if I could find a better customer service agent, but no luck, alright? So this time I was like, send me straight to the manager. And before this call, I had done all my research regarding consumer protection laws, regarding sending complaints about a certain company, and I was ready to take action against the Better Business Bureau or the government of Canada regarding consumer protection. And literally, I had all the people's names that I had talked to and all of their badge numbers. That is something that I did with every single person I talked to, because it's important. If you want to file a complaint for some reason, you need to have all their names and their badge numbers. So that's something that I did from the start, so I was lucky. So this time when I went off the manager, I told him this whole situation, and he said, sir, and by the 7th week I was asking for a refund. I said, I don't even want anything but a refund. And the manager was like, so sorry, but we can't do a refund. It's not an option at all. And at this point, I was like, okay, so you're saying there's no refund, nothing, and you're asking for more money. If that's the only option you have, the only option I have is that since you're not working with me and I'm trying my best to, I'm going to have to file a complaint against the Better Business Bureau. So I asked kindly, sir, can I have your name and badge number? This was checkmate. The guy, the manager, literally stopped talking and he just went blank. I was like, hello, sir, are you planning on hanging up on me like the others? I know you're there. I have all this recorded. I actually did have all my calls recorded, and I was like, can you please answer me? 2 minutes passed, full of silence, and he said, we can't give you our names or ID numbers, that is confidential information. This is totally BS because every other person gave it, but he won't because I mentioned about the complaint. So he was like, give me a second, which was actually about 5 minutes, and he came back and he said, alright, I'll give you a higher spec computer. And I said, this is the top of the line computer of this model. There's nothing higher than this. And then he was like, I'll give you another laptop of your choice. And then I said, I literally was so frustrated that I was like, okay, give me a computer that has the same specs as I do, but something that doesn't break. I literally asked for no specific model, and I told him to just give me something that is not as bad as this. And then he said, okay, I can give you the Dell XPS 15. Now, keep in mind that I did research on the XPS 15 when I was buying this laptop, and I remember that it was a good computer. The only reason that I bought this was because of the 1050 Ti or the 1050. And I was hesitant at first, but I really had no option. I didn't want to go back to another one of these and go through all the trouble. Even though I was losing a bit on the GPU, I was like, whatever. I'll take the XPS 15. Can you tell me the specs that you're gonna give me? Before I said anything, he was kind enough, I guess, to ask me, do you want the 4K touchscreen? And I said yes, definitely, because I have 4K screen on this and I wanted 4K on the XPS as well. So then he sent me a list of the configuration, and I looked at it and I realized that he didn't have the fingerprint scanner. And I asked, do you mind adding the fingerprint scanner? It's just $30 extra. And he said, no, I can't add the fingerprint scanner. We can only give the exact same specs, right? And I was like, hey, I'm losing the 1050 Ti to a 1050. You might as well just give me a fingerprint scanner. And he said, good point. And he actually did give me the fingerprint scanner. So he said, this order will be delivered to you in 7 to 10 days, right? Currently, it is 10 days since he told me that, and I haven't received it yet. But I guess it's okay. At least I'm getting an XPS 15 now. At least I'm getting a working computer now, and that's the least I could ask for. And my final verdict is, would I buy from Dell again? Probably not, because of the experience that I had. Should you buy from Dell again? Well, that's kind of up to you. Like, I maybe just be like super unlucky to go through like 2 different faulty laptops. I know people who have gone through 4 different faulty laptops, but then there's also a huge amount of people who have gone through no replacements, nothing, and they've had flawless machines. So you could just be unlucky like me, or you might just be the luckiest person ever and receive a perfect computer. So I know that Dell makes really good computers. They make one of the best Windows computers out there. But I have to say, if they are for some reason watching my videos, I think they should probably improve their customer service and definitely improve their quality checks, because I'm worried now that the XPS might have stuff like coil whine or like wobble on it, because I heard those are some common issues with the XPS. I mean, again, there's people who have had perfect computers as well. So, I probably might not buy from Dell again, but you definitely could give it a shot. But whatever you do, don't ever be like, I mean, it's not working, I'll just throw it out and buy a different laptop. Don't ever do that. If you do that, you're just encouraging them not to care about their quality check or their customer service. So if you do face an issue, go ahead and pursue it until you get a fix for it. So yeah, with that being said, this is Tech Alpha. Sorry for the long and boring video, but I just really wanted to let you guys know this information. Oh yeah, so see you guys in the next one. Peace.